Welcome everyone, and I'm finally got Trisha Malcolm back to the party line. I am so excited. It's been a while since we've seen you, literally seen you. Although we've seen Christina several times in the interim, but it's nice to have you back in person. Welcome back to the party line.
Thank you. I'm very excited to be back here.
Well, and it's a really great book that we're here to talk about, and most of the people who come to our events know I rarely knit other designers projects. I'm usually working on something of my own, but the people who follow Planet Pearl on Facebook know that I'm currently knitting a sweater from this book for my daughter-in-law who is not in the room, so I could talk about it. But this book is fabulous. I'm a huge fan of Vogue Knitting, and as most people know, I collect them. I have all but one going back to 1932, and
Wow.
I keep them in little clear archive sleeves in a acid free box in a room in a big plastic bag in a room that has a sprinkler system in it. I'm very serious about my collection. And what's
Mm-hmm.
really great about books like this, when you do it's basically like the best of series, is it allows me to see a lot of my favorite things without having to thumb through 20 different
Right.
magazines, which is
Especially if you're
great.
looking for one particular thing, like a shawl, for instance, you can look through a shawl book rather than 18,000 issues.
Exactly, and I'm hoping this one shows up for my iPad, by the way, because I have a lot of the on the go books, or like the shawl
Mm-hmm.
books, and which are great to be able to take with you if if you don't always have your library handy, which most
Right.
of us find that whatever we're looking for is not where we are at the moment. So let's talk about this book. Why the decision to do a very easy sweater book?
We did one about 12 years ago, and people really, really responded well to it. And we hadn't done one in quite some time. And in those last 12 years, there's been a lot of easy sweaters in the magazine, and we were like, oh, maybe it's time again, basically, is how it came about.
Yeah, and
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 so,
we
mhm.
and we love those very easy sweaters because Vogue, you guys have figured out how to get easy sweaters that look fabulous. So
Yeah, not always easy to do that, actually.
yeah,
A lot of people, if they're really into designing cables or designing lace, then they want to, do something very impactful. So it is often very hard to get good, easy stuff.
yeah. So you
But
had
yeah.
a you had a you had you have a almost not unending supply of patterns to choose from. So how does the process go about in terms of, I mean, obviously 50 sweaters is a lot of patterns for one book, but how do you
Mhm.
go about narrowing it down to 50 patterns? Is there a rhyme or reason?
Yeah, we went through the issue, and all of our every sweater in our issue is already labeled easy or very easy or intermediate or advanced or something else. So we went through and basically looked um, at the magazines. On a page next to an easy sweater, we have something that says easy, very easy, or something. I don't know. There's a little thing next to the sweater on the page, so that made it super easy. We just were able to go through and look at them and go, oh, here's an easy, yes, yes, no, yes, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I would have a hard time just narrowing it down to 50 because I know from my standpoint, when I get the magazine, I I get, well, the copy that I touch, not the copy that I
Mhm.
say, but the copy that I touch gets dog-eared very quickly with all the stuff in the magazine that I'm interested in. So even though I never
Mhm.
get around to knitting it, but it gets tagged and dog-eared, and so I can imagine that it's quite the job to be able to get it down to 50. So, but let's do a little preview of what people can expect in the book, and of course we're not going to see 50 patterns today, but I think I'm going
No.
to show you
Mhm.
like a little over 20, so you'll get an idea of what's in the book. And the book is actually, oh, I was on my last slide. Let me try that again. That is divided up into sections, with the first section being stockinette, which or projects that are knit primarily in stockinette. It's funny when I think very easy sweater, I rarely think about cardigans, which are really pullovers with an extra seam in them, an extra opening in
Right.
them. So
Mhm.
there were actually several cardigans in this section, but was there anything about, well, and I could, well, for me, I can tell from looking, there are things that speak to me on these patterns, but the reason that these made the cut where some other unluckier sweaters didn't.
Okay, well, let's start with the first one on the left. That's a great piece because knitting that front is basically like knitting like a strip, like a scarf, and then it's just twisted and sewn together. And
So clever.
it is really clever, and also it looks great on everybody. It doesn't matter what size you are, or whether you're short or tall. Pretty much everybody can wear this. It's
Yeah,
very,
it's a
very
really
flattering, and it's
nice little
great.
throw on piece, and for people who work in offices that where long sleeve sweaters are going to be too much for them, this is a
Mhm.
nice little
Yeah.
thing. And for people who live in warmer states, most of the time, that's usually be this is halfway through winter for us in
Right.
Florida. So
Mhm.
yeah, so that's beautiful and a very easy knit.
Yeah. Now the next piece we included because you know every now and again you buy a yarn that's just lovely and you just want to knit stockinette, or you just want to knit stockinette because you're just too busy for something else. And something like a basic little cardi like that you can always wear
Yeah,
and
it never
always
goes out
use.
of style. It never goes
Never,
out of style.
never.
It's beautiful. And
No.
this ruffled one next to it is really
Mhm.
gorgeous.
Yeah, there's ruffle yarns and there's ruffle yarns. And this is the ruffle yarn that we believe is the highest end ruffle yarn out there. And in the navy, it's just very beautiful. And we
Mm.
sort of paired it with a yarn that's like a kid silk mohair,
Yeah,
and it just adds something kind of very dreamy like to that cardigan.
it is. And
Um,
the sheer versus the ruffle is just it's really makes for a beautiful layer.
yeah, it's very pretty.
Yeah, I mean for
The
evening
next,
or during the
mhm.
day, either one, they're
Oh
beautiful.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. And those colors seem to work. The colors in those two yarns, they're trendsetter yarns, match up beautifully. I mean, you could do this in white, and it would be a really pretty sort of summery cardi.
Mhm.
And in black would be beautiful for evening, or red, or even the navy is very pretty for evening.
Yeah,
It's
really,
nice.
really, really pretty. So tell us
Yeah.
about the cowl neck.
Okay, the cow neck is a solid yarn, and then it's another kid silk mohair, but this one is one that has a slight sparkle to it, and it's not a lot of overpowering sparkle. But there's a lot of these mohairs on the market right now, and the whole sheer thing is a very big
Very big.
trend. So that's what we were trying to sort of work on with this. Um, and for evening, it's lovely, but it's also something you could wear to work. It's just a matter of layering it over the right undergarments. And
Yes, that is an issue with sheer.
yes, it
Yes,
is.
the appropriate undergarments. Yes,
Mhm.
it's important. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
Now the next piece is one of my favorites because that is taken, I think, from somewhere in the 50s,
it's
from
beautiful.
old Vogue Knitting. We did a story where we took some old sweaters and redid them. So this was not done originally in a mohair, I don't believe, and then we reinterpreted it into mohair. And it's super easy and has that, just that little bit of detail with that gorgeous neck
Yeah,
and
beautiful.
with the rib pockets.
Yeah, when
It's
I
really
saw
pretty.
that, I mean, you can immediately tell it got that vintage influence to it, and yeah, it's just I love that really open for people like me who are claustrophobic and can't wear a turtleneck. This is just the
Yes,
perfect version of a turtleneck sweater because it's not up against your skin. So, and
right.
I think that's very flattering on a lot of people who don't have long skinny necks.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's the
so
face framing factor.
yeah, so pretty.
Mhm.
So and I actually recognized that pink one because I've been looking at that sweater for a while. So
Yeah.
so tell us about these choices.
Okay. The one on the left, again, um, it it's the kid silk mohair sort of thing where it is, a semi sheer. But what I really love about this piece is these gorgeous little sleeves, the fact that it's slightly A-line,
Very
and then
flattering.
very flattering. And there's like ruching at the neck. It's actually little pleatings at the bottom of the V-neck that helps create the A-line shape. So again, this is something that looks great on everybody. There's no one who can't wear this. And if you feel like your arms are not your best feature, you just continue knitting those sleeves,
Yeah,
you know?
really lovely, and and a very nice knit for the holidays, I think too, for
Very.
parties.
Yeah, and we the time around the time that we ran this in the magazine, I got absolutely super lucky, and Swarovski invited me to Austria on one of their press tours.
Oh
So
my.
I had just come back from the experience of Swarovski, and so we got some Swarovski crystals and put them around the neck. And then, sometimes I get to take sweaters home, and that one I actually have at home,
Ah,
and it's just lovely. And I pretty much wear it at the holidays. It looks great,
very pretty. Yeah, so maybe
very
you
very
do
pretty.
have the coolest job in the world. It might be possible.
Some days, other days not so much.
Yeah. Well, the Swarovski
Yeah,
crystal days, I guess, are good days. So
they were good days. Yes.
they're good days.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
tell us about this vest. It looks like a boucle texture to it.
It's actually a ribbon, and it does, when you knit this ribbon, it does give that look. I'm going to call out this yarn because it's really pretty amazing. It's called Dolcino, and it's by Trendsetter, and it's a rayon sort of tape that's about a ½ inch wide. And it's really, when it first came out, it's been on the market for quite a while. But when it first came out, I got a little obsessive with it, and it's at least 15 years ago or something. And I was knitting tank tops and lots of stuff with this because it's just super lightweight, super easy to wear. And we were doing this white story and just sort of came across it and thought, wow, we should try this yarn again. And this piece is super easy, just the right amount of ribbing, little pockets. Again, up to any size, this piece looks great. And if you don't want it to be in a tape yarn like that, you could do it in any number of different yarns. It's just simple enough, but with enough style to look good.
Yeah, I mean, really a
You know?
classic. It's not something that you're going to put away because it looks dated.
No,
Yeah,
never,
yeah.
never. The next piece is super interesting, and I had a copy of the book here, and whoever was in my last meeting
It's
walked out
okay.
with it. Okay, because I wanted to look up and see who designed that. But this is a really, really clever piece. And I remember, even though I
I
can't
can
think of
tell you
who
because
the
I have the
designer
book
was.
right here. I have
Okay,
the book right here now. I'll pull
when
it for
she
you while you're
did this,
talking.
yeah, when she did this, she
Oh, it's
she
Kristen Omdahl, who's coming to visit us next month for her new book.
perfect.
Yeah, so
Yes.
it's Kristen's.
Mhm. She did something super clever where she twisted the knitting when she was doing the neck, and that sort of creates the sort of twisted effect at the top of the opening in the neck, which is it's really nice,
Yeah,
really
and
really nice.
with or without anything underneath it. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Yes. And again, this is something that pretty much anyone can wear. You know, it's
Y-
flattering. It's body skimming as opposed to being fitted,
Yep, covers the
and
upper arms
yes, it does.
very
Yep,
nicely. Yeah,
very nicely. Yeah. So
yeah.
I think it's a really nice piece, and that neck is just so oh wow,
Yeah.
that it's beautiful.
Yeah,
The
nobody
next,
would look at
yeah,
this and think it was hand knit. I mean, that's just the
yeah,
detailing around the neck is just really beautiful.
yeah, yeah,
And I'm obsessed with
yeah.
this pink sweater, though. I will tell you, I'm obsessed.
Okay, this
I'm
is fun.
obsessed. Yeah.
Now this is it has these interesting pleats. It also has something interesting at the back neck too. Um, but the pleats are formed by dropping stitches.
Which
Okay.
I love dropping stitches. I think it's fun when
Yep.
they run down on purpose. It's not
Mhm.
so much fun if it's an accident.
No,
Yeah,
not
no,
so much.
but it's a lot of fun to do it on an actual piece of
Mhm.
fabric intentionally.
Exactly, and I think when Kathy Karen designed this, and I think what's really cool is the way she used this to what's the term? Well, to create the design effect, and it almost creates like pleating,
Yeah,
you know.
it
But
looks
they're
like it.
good, yeah, and they're nice vertical lines at that part of the body. So again, it's super flattering, you know.
Yeah, very really pretty, really pretty.
Very, very pretty. And this can be worn without something underneath it, but it also looks really cute over this sheer top. that she's wearing.
Yeah, and where the stitches are dropped, you actually get that sheer effect from it, from because the
Mhm.
stitches are open, and so anything with a pattern underneath it, like this skirt, is going to really be shown off
Oh
to
yeah.
effect.
Now this is another thing too that I can imagine this being a dress,
Oh
like a
yeah,
short dress, and I can imagine also it being a dress that goes to the ground, which would be so beautiful with all that fluting.
yeah, and it would really move beautifully.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
I
there's
love
something
that
to
piece.
think about. Yeah, me too.
Mm.
I'm obsessed with that sweater. So, and this just proves that, and this selection that I put, and this is, I think, is actually might be the biggest section in the book, dramatic shapes, is
Mhm.
that you don't, that it, just to get that really wow factor, you don't have to kill yourself knitting, because these are all very easy knits and they're very dramatic and beautiful.
Mhm.
This is proof.
So the
So,
first piece on the left, I guess our stylist really likes lace-fitted tops to go underneath things. uh, but I just love the shape of this. Um, One of the things that I find that people have really, or designers have really improved on over the years, is the shoulder. When I first started working at Vogue Knitting, pretty much everything was boxy,
yeah.
and that meant, a straight shoulder line. But no one actually has a straight shoulder. We're just not built that way.
No, and our
And what
shoulders aren't down halfway our arms either. Our shoulders are
they're
actually
not
up, yeah, on the tops there. So, yeah.
exactly. And then we have this really nice sort of sloping shape to our bodies. And so if you look at the red piece, you can see how that shaping goes round
Oh,
the
yeah.
body, right?
Yeah.
And then, our arms have enough movement to come out of an armhole that's lower like that, because that's basically how we're built, how our body sits, right?
Yeah,
And
and
by
wearing a stretchy fabric on top of that too, so.
right. Now the thing about this is when you create a sloped shoulder like that and then have an armhole, you don't have bulk underneath your arm, right?
Oh, yeah,
Because when you have a straight shoulder, and that means everything in the underarm just drops, and
and
then you're
bunches up.
walking around with, yeah, with bulky stuff, and the underarm is not the best place to have a lot of
No.
bulk,
No.
nor is it very comfortable
No.
on any level.
No, not so much.
Not so much, right?
Yeah.
so so this is just a very interesting shape. I love again that face framing sort of factor that's around the neck. This has a belt to it with openings that are just tied around, which really is a figure flattering, and I guess because she's a skinny model, it helps her to look skinnier. But I wouldn't mind wearing this actually without the belt and without the holes in it, just as like a piece, because I can tend to like pieces, like say the piece to the far right that's just loose, you
Yeah.
know, so it doesn't need to be belted really. Also, if you do like belting, you don't have to have this like knitted belt. It would work really well if if you had gorgeous leather belt that you loved,
Yeah, it would really show off the belt. It would make it a real
yeah,
statement
especially if you
piece.
spend a lot of money on
If you
a
bought a
fabulous.
really nice belt, yeah.
Exactly. Yes.
So, and
Now,
I love the shape of this, and in the red though, to me, especially with that neckline, I think, oh, she's wearing a very cool hot water bottle. I mean, but
that's
she
true.
looks
I never thought of it
warm.
like that.
She looks warm. Yeah, she
Yeah,
looks warm. So,
exactly. Yep.
so tell us about the next piece.
Okay, the next one's interesting because the bell shaping is completely achieved by changing needle sizes.
Oh, how clever.
hmm Um, so, I mean, again, it's super, super simple and just, this cute little edging and then, like A-line shaping with needle sizes.
Yeah, it's a beautiful, flattering shape,
Yeah, it
which
really
is
is.
nice. Yeah. So this is
Yeah,
Renee's. She's also at Vogue Knitting, Renee Lorian, who's been
she
a
is. Yes.
visitor
Mhm.
several times. So, and then
Mhm.
so tell us about this color block wrap.
Okay, I believe this is a Nora Garn design. If not Nora, then someone who works at Barocca with her.
It's
This
Amanda
is
Keep. Yep.
Amanda. Yes, I think Amanda's not there now, but was
But she
there at the
was.
time.
Yeah.
Yep. So she just designed this color blocking piece to show off the colors in this new yarn that they had. Now this is a really soft, tweedy yarn, which is really lovely. And then I think the color blocking really works. and I think it breaks up what would have been normally just a huge expanse of fabric. Plus, color blocking is a massive trend right now.
Yeah, it's
You know?
it's really sharp.
Yeah,
It's
it
very
really is.
sharp. And for gift
Yeah.
knitting, this is one of those things that you don't really have to worry too much about fit because it is sized for small, medium, large, extra large, extra extra large. I mean,
Mhm.
but the bottom line is if you just pick one,
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, it's gonna fit. So I think it's
it's
gonna be a
going to fit.
length issue. So, but yeah, it's gonna fit. So, in a very easy knit. The yarn looks fabulous. It makes you want to
The
touch it.
yarn is fabulous, and you could do this in sort of, like brighter colors. You could do this in more muted. It's like even if you do this in different shades of gray, it would
Yeah.
be really beautiful. But what I love, the pink in there just sort of is the kicker color and makes it really striking.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very eye catching.
Yeah,
Very eye
yeah.
catching.
And if someone's not into changing colors, this would just work as well in like a beautiful single color too. You know, it doesn't have to be
No, or
color
even
blocking.
different textures of the same color.
Yep, exactly. Yep.
So very nice.
Mhm. And the next piece is, I believe, is what you're knitting.
It is what I'm knitting. Although I have swapped out the yarn and I'm using
Mhm.
instead of the two strands of like the kid mohair silk blend, I'm using B Sweet's boucle mohair. So I'm giving it
Right.
a very fuzzy texture. It's for my daughter-in-law who lives in New York City, and
Mhm. Perfect.
I think it's a very stylish piece.
Yeah, it is great. It is great. Someone's suggesting that maybe three-quarter sleeves would work on this. This is one of those pieces where you could actually pick up around the armhole and knit the sleeves down as long as you want them to be, and that would work really well.
Yeah, it's actually
Um,
I can testify this is an incredibly easy knit. Like
mhm.
incredibly easy, almost bordering on mindless knit. It's
Yeah.
beautiful. And it's gorgeous. It creates a beautiful sweater. So
Yeah, it's lovely. It's a very simple stitch pattern that gives you just enough texture without, it's a rib pattern, but it doesn't pull and do all that sort of stuff. And I think that lush collar is what looks fantastic too.
yeah.
It's
The
really,
definitely
flattering.
and it doesn't use a lot of yarn, so it's one of those patterns too where you can splurge a little bit and still,
Right,
stay in your yarn budget, is assuming
right.
that you ever stay within a yarn budget.
Yeah, what's that?
Whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So
And
and then this next one, this poncho is beautiful.
yeah, this is just one massive poncho. We were inspired by a runway piece and thought, wow, let's try and knit something like this. And a designer sent this submission to us with this interesting stitch pattern. And it's an easy stitch pattern, but it's really cool. It's if you live somewhere cold or work somewhere where you need, something wonderful. Like I used to be a school teacher. This would be a perfect thing to wear to school. The schools are never quite warm enough, you know.
And it doesn't
And
matter what you're wearing underneath. You could have gym clothes and
exactly,
leggings and a nice pair of boots, and you're still dressed,
exactly.
which
Yep.
is great, really
Mhm.
great. Covers
Yeah.
a multitude of, you know,
Absolutely.
yeah, yoga pants. So there you
Mhm.
go. So and then
Yeah.
I think most people don't think cables are easy sweaters. They don't think cables and easy, but the easy can be also in the minimal shaping required kind of thing too, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
S-
And none of these cables are difficult cables. We made sure that every cable that we put in the book was simple enough that if you were just beginning to do cables, there's enough interest to keep you going, but not enough to drive you crazy.
Yeah, I noticed that none of them have like 20 different kinds of cables in the same sweater.
No,
Yeah,
no,
we appreciate
no.
that
Yes.
because there's a time and place for everything. But
Mhm.
yeah, and usually this close to the holidays, we're thinking
Well, forget
a
it.
little simpler.
Yeah.
Exactly. So tell
Yeah.
us about how these made the cut.
Okay, the first one on the left was designed by Sarah Hatton, and she's one of the Rowan designers. I just think she created an amazingly beautiful shape for this.
I
Um,
agree.
it's sort of like the poncho gone to the next level. Um, it's got those beautiful wide sleeves. It's really flattering. I just think it's a very nice piece and just enough cable effect there to just keep it interesting.
Yeah, and it would look great over even like a long sleeve turtleneck because it would really help show off
Mhm.
the shape of that sleeve too.
Absolutely.
Oh, and in case
Yeah.
you couldn't tell from the sound in the background, Trisha is in New York City. So,
Oh yes.
in case you didn't guess that, yeah.
Yeah.
So tell us about the green one then.
Yeah, the green one's lovely. Again, simple shape, and it's a shape that flatters, pretty much everybody. Um, the cabling is simple, but the elongated effect of those two lines of cables on the body are really lengthening and slimming.
Very
And then I
much.
just love the idea of keeping those openings and putting the belt through it.
Yeah.
And again, if you have a fabulous belt, nothing looks better,
Yep.
on a sweater than that.
I
Yeah.
agree. And then this next picture is a beautiful kind of almost capelet
Oh
effect.
yeah. Yeah. Now this is simply two rectangles. Okay. The shoulders are seamed, and a little bit under the arm is seamed, and then you pick up and knit the rib.
Yeah, how I mean, how clever and easy is that?
Yeah.
Zero
Again, it's
shaping.
yeah, super flattering. Again, anyone can wear this.
Yeah, really pretty.
Yeah. Mhm.
And then I know this Tom Scott piece because I remember this story in the magazine. I actually knit
Yeah.
a piece from that collection, that little collection he
Mhm.
did for Vogue Knitting. But this
Yeah,
is
he's
just,
pretty clever.
yeah, and it's just so. I think this story was probably 4 or 5 years ago, and the sweaters are
Mhm.
just, even though they're very trendy sweaters, they're classic at the same time. This is really sharp.
Well, that's the thing about the sweaters in this book. We didn't put anything in there that we didn't think looks good now, even if it was published 5 or more years ago. And we also try to put in here things that will stay classics.
Yeah, that you're
And
gonna hang
this
on
is,
to.
yeah, this is an interesting cable effect, and it's pretty much a tube, other than the sleeves. So it's an interesting construction, but very cool.
I
You know,
agree. I think I
yeah,
might
he's
be knitting
pretty
that for the
incredible.
daughter-in-law too.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very New York centric piece.
Yeah, it's young and hip.
Yeah,
It's young and hip.
very. It's
So,
lovely. Mhm.
and then this is beautiful. This is so feminine and soft.
I know, it's such a gorgeous cardi. This was designed by Rosemary Drysdale, and the yarn here has a metallic hit to it. It's not an over-the-top metallic; it's a subtle metallic, and that's something that we're seeing a lot more of in stores. When you're walking around in stores, you see a little bits of metallic thread in sweaters or in yarn or in other clothing, in your jeans. The sort of little tiny flash of metallic showing up everywhere. So this yarn certainly has that. It's an all over. It's not a seed stitch, but it's just a little
Sand
stitch
stitch.
pattern.
Yeah, sand
Sorry.
stitch. A stand stitch.
Yes,
It's sand
exactly.
stitch. Yeah.
And then what Rosemary did was knit these cables, and then sewed them on at the edge of the cable around the neck to create that opening.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and then she just knit these. Took the ends of the cables and knit ties down, and I mean, this is a great, great cardi, and this also looks fantastic on everybody.
Oh yeah, very flattering.
Definitely.
Very
Yeah.
nice. So,
Mhm.
and I think when people think color work, they think it can't possibly be easy. But you guys prove everybody wrong. There's some great looks that are, uh, the color work can be done in the straight pieces where you're
Mhm.
not trying to shape inside the color work. And then, of course, stripes, which add so much impact. So, tell
Yeah.
us about your selections here.
Okay. The first one on the left was kind of a really sort of fun one. And when I said to our staff, "Let's do pink and red together," they looked at me like I was a little crazy. But then when this came in, um, I kind of like the effect of it.
I do
I
too.
think it's good to mix things up sometimes. And of course, you could knit this in any number of colors. It'd be beautiful if you had some natural yarns like alpacas in natural shades would also be gorgeous in this. And
Oh,
all
yeah.
this really is a scarf with that basically you wrap around you and button in front, so it becomes like a cape.
Yeah, so it's very simple, just back and
Mhm.
forth, and then the color work is on the ends. So
Yeah.
it's not a big it's not like trying to do a traditional Icelandic sweater type of thing. And I
No.
love reindeers. I love reindeer. I'm reindeer crazy. So I love
Right.
reindeer on sweaters, and this is a lovely little little project that you can,
Yes.
especially if you're new to stranding. And it's nice you don't
Mhm.
strand the whole thing. So
Exactly.
lovely.
Just
Yeah.
enough to keep you interested
Yeah. And I
without
love,
sending you crazy.
and on this next one, the yoke and the neck on this
Oh, I
are
know.
just gorgeous.
Yeah, I love this sweater. I love that the striping is shown from the wrong side,
Yes.
and that creates that quite, fabulous
Blips of
effect.
color. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's mottled as well, and then and that was a grey and a cream against the solid black,
Yeah.
which is very contrasty. This is a sort of a balloony shape, um, which is, to me, this is one of those. I'm up in the log cabin, by
Curling
the
up
lake
and
in the
getting
middle of winter.
comfortable. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
definitely a snuggly sweater.
Mhm.
Yeah. And a nice
Yeah.
and a very sharp alternative to a sweatshirt.
Exactly.
Right. So,
Exactly.
yeah,
Yep.
very nice. Mari, this is Mary
Mhm.
Lynn Patrick, right? So we'll give her
Yeah.
props for that because it was really nice.
Yeah.
So,
It is
and then,
beautiful.
yeah, and then the striping on this next one, it just shows you what just a little contrast does to create interest because this is a very simple, like boat neck sweater,
Mhm.
right?
Yep. Yeah. This is the simplest you can get, basically, for a sweater. Um, but what's really cool is the designer chose to stripe mohair with a solid yarn, or like a wool yarn, and then you get that sheer thing happening again with the right undergarments, and then it's just enough interest, but it's cozy and warm, and the red is always such an
Yeah.
eye-catching color too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm.
And great for the holidays. This sweater you just want to go over and touch it.
Exactly,
So
it's a
I guess
perfect holiday
yeah.
sweater.
So
Yeah.
the right undergarment becomes even more important.
Mhm.
Strangers will be
Yep.
touching you. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
And then I thought this next sweater was so clever that it did where the surprise is on the back.
Mhm. Yes, and that's
So
always good.
tell us
You know.
about this one.
Yeah, this is designed by Twinkle. She's a Seventh Avenue designer who designs ready-to-wear clothes as well as sweaters, and she has her own line of yarn.
I
Um,
love her yarn. That thick and chunky yarn is
oh my
so
God,
soft.
it's beautiful. It really is. Now, there's some interesting things here. If you look at the rib, you see it's longer on the front than on the back. Um, and then,
Oh yeah.
just simple stripes on the back are enough to like make it be like wow. This is just a simple buttoning cardie with no sleeves. Again, this is one of those pieces that you could take from there to the ground or anywhere in between,
Yeah.
and it would look fabulous. And it's so fast to knit that yarn. And the other good thing is there's no sleeves. I'm not a big lover of knitting sleeves. It's
Well,
not my thing.
that might explain some of the choices in the book.
Right?
But yeah, and
Yeah.
if anybody who hasn't knit with this Twinkle, that really thick, like it's like the Magnum size yarn, it knits so crazy fast that you could whip 6 of these up before Christmas in a heartbeat, even if you're working 2 jobs. So, I mean, it's so soft. It's a really great yarn. It's got almost no twist to it. It's almost like knitting with, what do they call that? The roving. It's awesome. It's
Mhm.
awesome. Yeah, Shannon was saying that
Yeah.
that she loved the gray one with that unusual cable. I
Yeah.
agree. It'll be interesting to
Yeah.
see, yeah, how many of these are popping up. I wonder how many of these you'll be seeing at Vogue Knitting in January.
Yes. Mhm.
Exactly. So, and then we have a little more traditional kind of color work sweater,
Right.
right?
Yeah, this is the kind of sweater, if you're interested in doing top down, you're interested in doing that sort of round neckline, um, then this is a great place to start. It's only two colors, um, other than the ribbing. And I think, this could be a lot of fun if you're ready to tackle something like that. This is probably the more difficult sweater of all of the ones that we've looked at, but I still think it's easy enough for a beginning sweater maker, So, it's enough color work to look beautiful, but it's not enough to tear your hair out. Um,
Exactly.
and I think I just think it's a really, really nice piece. So, if you've never tried color work, this is a great piece to try it on.
Yeah, and Mooskers was
Definitely.
saying, she goes, I don't think so far these hadn't looked really easy to her. And I think the thing is that people can get very intimidated about constructing a garment. That it seems like that's it's a difficult thing to do. And I just went take my word for it, Muskers. Very easy Vogue sweaters are exactly what they say they are. They're very easy. And I think most of these are, if you've never knit a garment before, that you should feel free to pick any of them. I think you jump right in because they're they're well designed. They're going to look fabulous on you, and you're going to be shocked at how easy it is. You'll get away
Yeah,
from knitting
people
scarves and hats.
exactly. People tend to be a little shy, um, especially newer knitters. Whereas if you were from the old school of knitting, you knit sweaters all the time. That's what you knit. People didn't bother making scarves. And I think that's one of our challenges now is to take people who have started on scarves and who've made socks and made a couple of shawls and are, they're ready to tackle something, a little more of a commitment perhaps, but definitely not difficult. It's just a matter of following the pattern and just you start make your back, you make your front, and then sleeves if you have it, and then a little finishing. There's not a lot of intricate finishing on any of these sweaters.
Yeah, and I think the thing too is when people think easy sweaters in the old days, that meant a drop shoulder, boxy, not
Mhm.
unfitted pullover, plain pullover, like a crew neck pullover. And this just proves that it can be easy and really, really stylish and something that you're proud to
Yeah.
wear and proud to tell when people compliment you to tell them that you made it. So,
Right.
yeah, so I think this is a great book. And if you're going to teach somebody how to knit, this is a good book too to give them with yarn and needles and IOU for knitting lessons. Because then you get
Absolutely.
them started out on something other than knitting a scarf, which will make them, bored after the first like 4 or 5 inches. So I think this is it's a great book. And thanks for putting it all in one place because now I don't have to comb through back issues of my magazines.
Oh yes.
And I haven't knit a sweater from anybody else's pattern in so long. It has been a while since I even knit a sweater, and it made me run to my local yarn store. And
Great. I'm really glad.
yeah.
I actually sent a photo, the Facebook link of your knitting the sweater to the woman who designed that. She was so excited you were making it.
Oh, great! I'm glad because
Yeah.
and it's beautiful, and I'm enjoying it. I'd forgotten how much fun it is to knit something where you don't have to. I mean, seriously, don't have to work that hard at it, which
Mhm.
is what's very. I forgot how really relaxing that is. I'm really enjoying. Oh, I agree. Let's do a cow. It's a beautiful and easy sweater. So maybe we'll pick something from the book and we'll do a cow. Okay, well, I got some knitters with me.
Yep. I
So
see that. Yep.
good. So I want to remind people, that you can get Vogue Knitting magazine. You can first of all follow them on Facebook. Although I will first warn you, you guys find the best links to fun stuff that's knitting related or knitting themed on the web, and have been responsible for my dance goes that have the pattern of
Oh,
the
good.
photorealistic knitting on
Mhm.
them, as well as
Perfect.
my cabin now sports those photorealistic sheets. My bed
Oh,
does
good.
with the
And
cable
now, weren't they
knitting from Garnet
fantastic? I was
Hill. They're
so
gorgeous
excited.
and
Yes,
they're
when I
so
saw that.
soft. I can now
Mhm.
say I've slept on them. They're awesome. So yeah,
Great.
so
Mhm.
yeah, so thanks for that. We appreciate it. But Vogue, yeah, so follow Vogue Knitting. You always get the first word on everything if you follow Vogue Knitting on Facebook. So I do encourage you to do that. And then for
Mhm.
people who are lucky enough to be anywhere near, or this is actually a great gift to get somebody to give you, like your spouse, to give you like tickets to go to New York in January for Vogue Knitting Live, which I went to the very first one and it was amazing. You never see this kind of a lineup of teachers anywhere except at Vogue Knitting. And of course New York City is just fun all by itself. So there are tickets available. So I just want to remind people Vogue Knitting is coming up. And I'm working on something with Beth Ritter at Vogue Knitting where for
Mhm.
people who can't go, I think we are going to actually get a live guided tour through the market
Great.
floor. Yes, on Planet Pearl using this interface so that you'll actually get to go and see it. So you get to see what it's like and then maybe go next year. So, all right.
Fabulous. That's
That's
great.
what I agree. I'm an iPad person. I so appreciate that a lot of my kind of my the on the go books, as well as I actually think I have most of these on my iPad, which is really great, like these single topic books, like the shawls or the wraps, things that you like to knit a lot, that you can actually buy these for your iPad and now for Android, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so for people on Android devices as well, which I think probably the Apple and the Android devices are the bulk. And
Yeah, there's not really much else.
yeah,
And
not
now most of
anymore.
the others,
Not
no, and
yeah,
most of the others can use, either platform.
yeah.
Well,
So
usually, yeah.
which is really
Mhm.
nice so that you can take your favorite books with you. I'm hoping this sweater book ends up on available for my iPad.
Oh,
And
it will be.
oh, good, good, good. I'll be looking for that too. And Vogue Knitting magazine, and so I buy two copies in paper, one that goes into a sleeve and gets saved, one that I thumb until it falls apart, and then one on the one that I buy it electronically on my iPad, so that it's with me wherever I go. But I have to say the nice thing too is that it's available on the iPad early, so you can get them without having to drive anywhere. So, or even walk
Yeah.
to your mailbox. You just download them. So, which is really,
And I have to
really
tell
nice.
you, Beth, I actually forgot to mention this when we were talking earlier. Sometime in the next couple of weeks, and we will announce it on Facebook, our iPad app is going to come with some new features. For instance, you'll be able to highlight. So if
Oh,
you're working on a
nice.
pattern, you can highlight certain things. You can use that highlighting then to maybe color your charts. And you are also going to be able to write notes into your magazine.
Oh, that is awesome. Oh,
Mm.
yeah. I mean, that's like electronic sticky notes. Yeah, Shannon says she wants an
Mhm.
iPad now. I mean, just to be able to keep your magazines on them, awesome. I mean, that's amazing to be able to actually write notes. It's basically, because I don't even like to write in my I don't like to write in my books or magazines, and I end up photocopying and writing the notes on the photocopy, and then I can never find the photocopy again. So yeah, so I don't
Mhm.
remember what I changed or what I did. So that's
Well,
a
this way you won't
great
have to.
feature.
You can write on top of a photo and say, okay, use blah 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 yarn from my stash, and then when you've used it, you can just erase it, and you
Yeah.
have your page.
Or if you ever want to make another one and you made changes to a sleeve or something that you have your
Exactly.
notes are gone are like saved forever. Yeah, Mooskers was saying she has the same problem as she writes the notes on them and then she can't find them again. And then if you ever try to
Exactly.
duplicate it, you're out of luck. So yeah, so we're all looking
Mhm.
at Christmas. Yeah, the holidays, Christmas, Kwanzaa,
Mhm.
Hanukkah, the winter solstice, all on the way. So it's a good reason
Yes.
to get a device you
Exactly.
can use this on.
Mhm.
And Vogue Knitting also, or Sixth and Spring, Soho Publishing, they also do Knit Simple magazine, which is also available on the iPad. And I just wanted to tell people that the holiday issue is out. And since we're talking about easy patterns today with the very easy sweaters, is Knit Simple tends to have simpler patterns. So if you're a little nervous, but also if you're running out of time because the holidays are coming and things just get so busy, is that the new issue is all about quick like gift giving. It has some really great ideas for some holiday gifts as well. So you can get it on your iPad and also paper, both, right?
Yeah, and if you
So,
go to the website, Knit Simple, I think it's knitsimplemag.com, you can look to see what's in there and see who you can add to your or see what you can add to your gift list before you even go out and buy it,
yeah, isn't that
which
great?
is nice.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
you get a little preview. So, yep. So, yeah, Selena says she was thumbing through her back issues for that poncho pattern and that she wished she had that iPad app now because she would have been
Mhm.
able to find it directly. Yes. Funny.
Actually, we can tell you from the page which poncho is she looking for because on the page it will tell you
Which one were
which
you looking
issue.
at? Oh yeah, because I think for people, yeah. So for people like me who have lots and lots of magazines, going back and finding it,
Oh yeah.
was it the cable poncho that you were looking at, or the one
It's
with
the
the
white,
other
the
design?
the big white one. Yeah.
Let me see. I think I
I
have it
think you're
here.
going to find it's either holiday or winter 2012.
All right. So this is the Marsha Cleary poncho. Is that the one I'm looking at
Mhm.
with the
Yep.
basket weave pattern?
Mhm.
All right. And where in the book is it going to tell me it came from?
I,
Can
I
you tell?
should. I wish I could.
Oh, it's on page 115. Is there an index in here to what issue it came
No,
from?
it doesn't tell you in the caption.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's where it's from. It's from. I believe it's holiday or winter 2012. One of those two. I
There
can't
you
remember
go.
exactly which one.
Shannon says thanks. Selena's looking right now.
Okay, great.
Oh, oh, good, good. Well, thank you so much, Trisha. I know that things are very busy, and you got a couple of events coming up very shortly.
Yes.
So yeah, so I
Mhm.
appreciate you taking time out today to talk to us about this book. I'm such a huge fan, and I'll be buying this for my iPad as well as soon as it comes out. So, but thank you, and thanks everybody else for being here today to
Yes.
talk
Thank you for coming to
sweaters.
listen.
And people in the room, stick around because I'm going to give away a copy. And thank you
Yep.
again, Trisha. I'll give you some love. You have a great day,
Thank you very much.
and hopefully we'll see you again soon.
Definitely. If not, I'll see you at Vogue Knitting Live in January
There you go.
on your booth tour.
There you go. Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
Okay. Thanks,
Take
Beth.
care. Bye.
You too. Bye.